Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to Randomly Random. I am Bwami, your internet bestie. Today, we are continuing with our Manifest TV series watch party. We're diving into episodes 6 and 7. Get your snacks ready and let's get into it.
One of the passengers on the flight was a Bulgarian man named Marco. He didn't know any English and was fairly new to America. Hence, while filling out the customs form on the flight, he made contact with Sanvi and Cal, asking them if they could help him translate. Now in the present, Cal sees a nightmare and starts screaming in Bulgarian. He is also burning with fever, so the parents rush him to the hospital immediately. The shocking part is that Cal has never been taught to speak Bulgarian, or made contact with any Bulgarian man other than Marco. Meanwhile, the finest minds in the scientific community are trying to make sense of the lost airplane. Some suggest the plane went through a wormhole, while others think the laws of physics as we know them do not apply to this phenomenon. Vance listens to them and figures out they won't come to a conclusion anytime soon. His only shot at uncovering what caused the disappearance are the passengers themselves. Even after being at the hospital for hours, Cal's fever doesn't go down. It is concerning for the doctors since they haven't been able to find out the cause of the fever yet.
This guy is really sweating. Almost like he's on some other planet. Like, although his body is here, he's on some other planet. Do you guys get what I'm saying? All in relation to the quantum shifting, quantum leaping. I really think it's quantum physics, but we never know. Remember that we are still suspecting that the government has something to do with it, because why is the government keeping Kelly's body? Kelly was one of the flight passengers who was shot because she kept on going on TV interviews, calling out the government about the disappearance of their flight for 5 years. But I wonder, how do these makeup artists get people to look like this? Like, he's literally sweating. How do they come up with these things? It's just fascinating to me. If you're a makeup artist in the movie industry or something, let us know. Wow.
Grace asks the doctor if Sanvi's experimental cancer treatment is making Cal sick, but the doctor puts it off the table because it has been nothing but successful for the past 2 weeks. Suddenly, Cal starts screaming something in Bulgarian. Sanvi remembers Marco saying that
maybe the Bulgarian man who was on the flight is in trouble now. Have they thought of that? Let's see what happens.
Same phrase on the plane, which means Cal's sickness is related to the disappearance. Ben is determined to solve whatever problem it is for the sake of his child. He goes through the lists of passengers and finds out information about Marco. The man has no immediate family members in New York and no addresses where they can look for him. Some people from the flight have gone MIA after Kelly's death for their safety, so the group thinks that Marco is also one of them. To find out more about the guy, they meet a translator who was also on the flight. She reveals that people like Marco who didn't have immediate family in America were sent to a government shelter until they figured out where to go. She distinctly remembers that he was on bus number 5, but every data on record says that there were only 4 buses that carried the passengers. Upon investigation, Ben discovers that there was a 5th bus filled with foreigners, who no one was going to file a missing complaint about. The government must have sent the bus to a secret location.
See, our theory about the government is slowly building up. They might be involved. Why did they take all the foreigners? Okay, I get it. They are foreigners and they spent 5 years being missing. So, of course, I'm sure their family members think they are dead in their countries or whatever, right? But still, why don't they figure out where they were coming to? If they were on the flight, because remember they were all flying from Jamaica to the States. If they were coming to the States, that means they were coming there for a reason. So they can trace back the people that they were coming to visit or whatever to get information about them. But why has the government sent them to some secret location? Why? To run tests on them or to continue their experiment. Let's see what happens. This is getting more intriguing.
So they can experiment on the passengers and find out the cause of the disappearance. With time, Cal's condition worsens. He starts shouting help and hurry in a foreign language. Ben quickly does some research and finds a certain area of farmlands where the bus must be hidden, according to the traffic cameras. Michaela asks Jared to accompany her to the location and tells him about the missing bus. Initially, he doesn't want to help her because she refuses to tell him about the callings, but upon finding out that the mission might be dangerous, he gets ready to drive. Then, we are finally shown the place where the passengers from Bus 5 are being held. Marco is in the middle, being electrocuted to test his endurance, while the same happens to the others behind him. Every shock he receives resonates with Cal and hurts him as well. After
What is the American government doing with these people? What? This is how war starts. How dare you take people that are in your country legally? Because trust me, if they were flying from Jamaica to America, that means most of them had visas to come into the country. Like they are there legally and you've taken them and you're experimenting with them. How dare you? Like sometimes I feel like America thinks like they are the greatest country in the world, and theoretically maybe they are. But it just leads them to just treat other natives like anyhow sometimes. Like what is happening here? And how have the other countries not like come to look for their people? Because I'm sure the same way everybody heard that Flight 828 disappeared, that's the same way it was announced that Flight 828 has reappeared and has landed in America. And I'm sure there are a lot of countries, the people whose citizens were on the plane know that the plane has reappeared. So how are these countries, that means these countries, they don't even care about their people. How are these countries not contacting the American government or these airlines to find out how they can bring their people home safely, or to find out if their people are safe in the States? Wow. Like, their situation looks so inhumane. It looks like some underground illegal experimentation that is going on. Because why are they not in hospitals? Why are they in buses? Why are they not in a facility? Why? Why is the American government hiding that? Nah.
Half an hour drive, Michaela and Jared reach the farmland and find the site where they are performing the experiments. However, it is guarded by armed military men who are ready to shoot anyone who tries to interfere with their jobs.
Why?
Michaela pretends to be a lost civilian and gets out of the situation. But before driving away, she gets a picture of a woman being led into a red door. When they are far enough, Jared stops the car and asks her for answers. Michaela finally tells him about the callings, which are difficult for him to believe. Still, he thanks her for keeping him in the loop and urges her to come to him if there is any problem. In the meantime, the doctor suggests they give Cal an antibiotic because she suspects he has an infection that hasn't shown up on tests.
He's not going through anything medical.
But giving him an antibiotic would mean the failure of the cancer treatment he is going through. Grace wants to solve the problem at hand, but Ben is confident if they wait for a while, they will find a better way. He suddenly remembers that he can ask Vance for help.
Oh, I get it. Because I forgot. Because he has cancer, that's why they're actually more worried about what is going on, like about his fever. I get it. I can't imagine having a child with cancer and you wake up, he has this high fever and he's muttering words and speaking a language he has never spoken before. It's like, yeah, I get why they are worried.
Since he also works for the government and must know about the experiments, he goes to Vance's office and accuses him of unlawful conduct, but the guy is clueless about the experiments. Ben even shows him the picture Michaela took, but Vance refuses to believe him. In the end, he is left helpless as a father.
There's a picture there.
But after he leaves, Vance asks his people to dig deep into what Ben was saying, because there actually might be an unlawful experiment going on. At the police station, Michaela does some digging on the farmland's owner and finds out it was bought just 2 weeks ago by a multi-billion company called UDS.
Why?
Moreover, the buses that relocated the passengers were also a gift from UDS to the government. It is clear that the company is funding and organizing the experiments on its own. On the farm, the doctors stopped the experiment for the day to move the patients to a safer location.
Do they have I'm really bothered by this. Do they have the consent of these people to carry out these experiments on them? Or they just saw them as some scapegoats they can use, which they think, because they think nobody is looking for them because they are foreigners. And this is so sad because I know that somewhere in real life, somebody is being used as an experiment for something like this illegally. I really know. I don't care if you think I'm a conspiracy theorist, but look at this. Look at this. Have these people consented to being used for experiments? Have they consented? Did they sign any documents? They don't even know they are being experimented on. Are they even conscious enough to agree or disagree or have a say in what they are being used for right now? Because we all don't know what they are being used for. We don't know what kind of experiment is being held on them. Nah, this is really wrong. This is really wrong.
As Marco relaxes, Cal's fever goes down and he is saved. Grace is so glad that she goes into the bathroom and breaks down into sobs. She only rushes outside when told that Cal gained consciousness. The doctors believe that he got lucky, unaware of the root of the problem. Somewhere else, Vance is given the same information that Ben found out hours ago. He starts suspecting that someone powerful is orchestrating the experiments on the low, behind the name of the government. Vance and his assistant go to the farmland where Michaela took the picture, only to find it empty. But as they are about to leave, they find a fresh band-aid on the floor. It is clear that someone sick was moved from the farm not long ago. Hours later, Cal speaks for the first time and says that he is scared because he can still feel Marco.
It's so sad because, of course, if a multi-million-dollar company is funding these illegal, so they say, non-governmental, so they say, experiments, of course, they can easily move the bodies wherever, whenever, whichever, wherever, you know? So they should have acted faster when Ben went to them. They should have acted faster. I feel like if there's a photo there, he showed you I feel like a photo is quite good evidence. It's different if he came to just say, oh, I saw it, and he doesn't have to. He gave you a photo, and you've waited till the evening or days after, and you are going, and then you are shocked that it has been moved. Are you okay? So that means if they didn't see that band-aid with the blood, what would they have said? They would have said he was lying. Some police are really annoying. Some security agencies are really annoying about how slowly they act. Sometimes just bewilds me, you know?
Ben knows that for the kid to be completely okay, they have to save Marco and the others. The only way to find out where UDS is keeping them is by joining UDS himself. They are looking to hire someone in the accounting department, and even though Ben is overqualified for the job, he might just be able to get it. On the day of the interview, he makes the interviewer believe that his qualification will be a plus point and is instantly hired. He refrains from telling Grace the real reason he is joining the team, since they have already gotten into an argument about him investigating the callings. As they discuss the new job, Olive asks permission to go rock climbing. Ben allows her but finds out that she is going with Danny. In his absence, Danny and Olive religiously went rock climbing because it gave her a goal and distracted her from the deaths of her loved ones. Ben doesn't mind her hanging out with Danny as long as it helps her. On his first day at work, he finds out his boss is a flight.
For someone who doesn't mind, he really looks bothered. You know when somebody is saying one thing, but from their facial expression, you can sense or tell that they mean a completely different thing. Yeah, that's what just happened here.
828 fan. It is good news for Ben because he can ask the man for favors while he snoops around the UDS database. Soon, he finds out that he needs a red level key card to access the information he wants. During lunch breaks, he fries his...
Wait, I know I'm stopping it a lot, but did they just say that the guy is an 828 fan? So does that mean that the new company he's working for know that he's an 828 passenger? Then he's clearly in danger too. I know that they're experimenting on only the foreigners, but I'm sure there are steps to it. Of course, they're experimenting on the foreigners first before they come get the Americans that were actually on the plane. If whatever they're experimenting on goes well, or whatever experiment they are doing yields the results that they are looking for, right? So why did he tell them that he was on the 828 flight? The whole point of you being there or you working there is to be undercover. I know that they're a multi-million-dollar company and they could run a background check on you and find out all these things. But remember that Ben himself is from the police service. So they could have easily just, came up with some undercover name, undercover background for him. That would look so realistic. Except he hasn't told the police force what he's doing. Has he? Or is he doing this on his own? That is something I don't know. Or maybe I missed. Let me know in the comments. Let's continue.
card in the microwave and makes it seem like it isn't working anymore. His boss offers him a card with greater access upon seeing that he is having trouble with the old one. After using the card to get into the system, Ben finds a project named SP, but even the higher card does not allow him access to view the project's information. Following that, he comes across a woman named Fiona Clark. She is a researcher who was one of the passengers on Flight 828. Ben also discovers that she is working for whoever took the missing passengers. Ben and Sanvi go to one of Fiona's conferences to meet her. Her recent research is about how human brains are connected to each other, in the sense that one can channel pain from someone else's body. It is the same thing that happened between Marco and Cal. Upon seeing Sanvi and Ben, Fiona comments that she had been waiting for them. After the conference, they talk to the researcher and find out that she has no clue about the detained passengers. She was approached by a non-profit organization named SP on the 4th day after the flight's return. They were interested in funding her research and have been helping her with conferences ever since. However, she was never told about her research being used experimentally on detained passengers.
I hope she's telling the truth.
Somewhere else, Jared and Michaela are called to a crime scene where a man is shot dead. His niece Carlos begs Michaela to save the man, but she is unable to. However, when she is near the dead body, she hears a heartbeat in her head. They go to the police station where Carlos reveals that his uncle was his only family, the one who helped him when he was severely ill as a child. The police bring in the suspects and make him identify the killer. However, Carlos says that he doesn't remember the man's face clearly. Michaela and Jared know that he is lying, because he said a different thing at the crime scene. But since the police have nothing to hold the suspects in custody, they are let free. Later that day, Jared brings Michaela home for dinner with Lourdes. Michaela is surprised that it isn't awkward and she is actually having fun with them like the old times. While talking about their past, Lourdes comments that Evie used to want revenge, not justice. This reminds Michaela that Carlos must be doing the same. He wants to punish the culprit himself, which is why he didn't identify the killer and said he never saw a gun. She rushes to his home and inquires if it is true. Carlos denies the claims, but she makes him understand that he still has an entire life ahead of him, and he shouldn't do something he regrets. The following morning, the kid brings the gun to the police station and is ready to identify the man. But by now, the police have no clue where the killer is. Michaela and Jared go to the neighborhood where he was found earlier. Suddenly, Michaela hears the heartbeat again, which shows her the way to get to the man. Jared drives according to her instructions and finds the killer about to rob an old man. They arrest him just in time before he does any harm. Jared still cannot believe that Michaela's predictions are true. A while later, Michaela goes to Carlos to inform him that they have found the culprit. She notices Evie's picture on the wall and is informed that her heart was donated to Carlos when he was a kid. By a twist of fate, the accident that killed Evie also saved Carlos' life, which is why Michaela could hear the heartbeat. Meanwhile, Ben makes friends with a colleague and gets his way into the SP database. He also drops coffee on the guy to distract him and download the file on his hard drive. The plan is successful and he texts Sanvi about it. What he doesn't know is that Vance has access to all his text messages and knows about the hard drive. After work, Ben is on his way out when he gets a text message asking him to come to the hallways.
What kind of invasion of privacy is going on here? Why does Vance have access to his text messages? Is that even legal? Unless it's an office phone or something. How is that even legal? These people are just sending me.
In doing so, he finds Vance waiting for him. He takes the hard drive after threatening Ben that he will expose him for snooping around. Although the two are working for the same purpose, they do not trust each other. On reaching home, Ben goes to Cal and promises to find Marco before he's sick again. He also tells the kid about Vance, but according to Cal, Vance is on their side and is a good man. Ben figures out that his son's callings are different, and more to the point than the other people's. His suspicion is confirmed when they see a picture Cal drew yesterday. It is a picture of Carlos with a heartbeat. After the kid goes to sleep, Michaela and Ben talk for a long time.
What a gift
Cal wants to go to school, but Ben thinks
that could be a gift and a curse, right? Being able to feel the pain everybody is feeling. Wow, that could really be a gift and a curse, because on one hand, you can help people. On the other hand, you feel all their pain and everything they are going through, and it just leaves your life miserable, just like this, if their lives are miserable. Oh.
not a good idea since they are being watched. Michaela argues that Cal has the right to have normalcy in his life after what happened. Somewhere else, the project leader of SP tells the researchers to do everything they can to get results, even if it means hurting the passengers.
Wow.
The main aim of the experiment is to prove that the brains of the passengers are connected. In the morning, Cal goes to school for the first time after years. All his friends have jumped several grades, but they welcome him wholeheartedly. At work, Michaela is told about a guy from 828 who is trying to jump off a building. She goes to the site to convince him otherwise. It turns out the guy is trying to end his life because he doesn't understand the callings. No matter how hard Michaela tries, he jumps.
I get it because Michaela, Ben, and Carl may have been able to handle the callings really pretty well, and Sanvi and the other people they've been showing us, but not everybody wants this. Not everybody wants to be hearing stuff in their heads when they are walking around. No, not everybody wants to be a superhero, you know. Michaela and Ben have an advantage because they are already in the security force. They are already like in the police force. And so they are basically like superheroes before this on a normal day, you know, protecting people, trying to save people's lives. But it won't be easy for everybody to adjust, hearing voices and having all these callings and being directed to help people. So I get him. He needs like mental, psychological help, right?
Often dies. Then,
I think you might
at
even,
Ben's
going
workplace,
crazy.
Vance approaches him and agrees to help. He knows that if he tells his department about the experiments, the people organizing it will find out. Hence, he has to work on it in secrecy.
That means his boss might know about it, or there's somebody above him, right, that knows about it. Because why does he think that if he tells his agency, the people that are doing the experiment will find out? It means that he suspects that one of his bosses are in cahoots with the SP, the people running the experiment. I mean, this is logical. We've connected the dots. Let's see what happens.
Ben is given the hard drive and asked to find out what the data on it means. On analyzing it, he figures out the passengers are being electrocuted to see if they channel each other's pain. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on the notifications.
Guys, part 4 tomorrow. I am really enjoying this series. You know? And if I had access, I would find the full movie. But for now, we're enjoying this. Guys, are you enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying it? If you are, please do like this video. And don't forget that part 1, part 2 are linked in the description box. Go catch up if you don't understand what is going on. Leave your comments down below. What do you think of part 3? What do you think of episode 6 and 7? And if you've watched the full movie and perhaps this recap missed out on some details, you know, let us know in the comments. Give us paragraphs. And until tomorrow, like this video and subscribe. Bye, guys.